Hey everybody, I'm Dave Karger here at the Toronto International Film Festival 2018 for IMDb. Very happy to be joined by the whole gang from Beautiful Boy. Hi guys. Great to see you all. I'm kind of already emotional about this movie, having watched the trailer, and then I learned that the screenwriter is Luke Davies, who did Lion, which is a movie that completely wrecked me. Am I going to be able to handle this movie tonight, Steve?
To me?
Yeah.
Yes, you will be able to handle this movie. Yes. I think you will be able to handle this movie. It's
Okay.
One of the things I loved about the two books and about the film that they're based on, the books Beautiful Boy and Tweak, written by David Sheff, Nick Sheff, is that they're unrelenting and they're very honest and I don't want to speak for Felix, our director, but I feel like what we all set out to do was try to have a representation of those books in a really honest and truthful way, and show these people as accurately as we could. So I think you'll be able to handle it.
Okay. Felix, it is interesting because you don't get that many movies that are based on two memoirs. How did that change the way this movie was developed and made, do you think?
It's the thing that attracted me to it. I think it was a great pitch, a great idea. It was challenging because there was so much material, so much source material. They both span like their lives, basically. So there was really a lot of material to work with. But it's also what makes the movie unique, I think. There's movies that talk about addiction, and but often it's from the point of view of it's one either it's mostly it's one point of view, and here we really switch point of views, and because of that, it just makes it it lays out the complexity of this of people going through this open in a very simple way, and I thought that was what was going to be unique, and it's I hope it works in the movie.
Timmy, what was it like for you to work with someone like Steve Carell at this point in your career? Did you have fun bonding as father and son? Was he a good mentor to you?
Absolutely, it's everything you just said. And going in for like the last audition / screen test, I met Steve for the first time, and I think it was literally with open arms. And I'm lucky to like have. I feel like Steve's like a father figure in my life now in the best way possible. But what you just said, I'm not going to repeat it 1,000 times, but I've been talking about it today. It's just like, I was a huge fan of The Office. I am a huge fan of, I mean, actually, I went back after we shot this movie to see, like, is this going to be weird to watch now? And I was like, those are my parents. Like, yes. So.
Oh my God,
yeah.
Twice.
Yes, yes.
Oh, this is
yes.
too much, right.
Yeah, I would be on set and they'd be like discussing like whatever, just like anything. And I'd be like, my head would be going off.
Was it hard at times to concentrate on how intense the story was, given your Office fanboyness, or were you able to hold it together?
No, I don't know, there's something that happens when like, I acted in a movie with Matthew McConaughey once too, and like when you've been watching someone for a long time, it actually takes you out of your head in a great way. It really focuses you on the person. And certainly, like, the story is very serious, as you say. So we had levity on set, but certainly when it came time to do the scenes, it was go time. Yeah.
It's going to be so amazing 15 years from now when I'm sitting here with you and some young kid who grew up watching Call Me by Your Name and is going to be flipping out that they're working with you. So that we'll have fun in a while. Amy, my understanding is that a lot of the stuff that you have in this film is on the phone. At least in the trailer, a lot of the stuff that I saw. Were there times where you were like, oh, I want to be there with everybody else? Or is there a trick to making of the phone scenes seem really realistic?
Well, the first day I arrived on set, just to say hello and have costume fittings and such, I went over to say hi, but the cameras were rolling, and you guys had said, oh, just get on the other line. So I was off camera for your first phone call, wasn't it? And so I heard Steve's voice first before greeting hello, and I just started crying. It's like, I'm so happy to be back here. Like, I feel so close to this person, yet where there's a disconnect.
Right.
And the trick to it, but also then Steve very graciously crouched down behind a couch so I could hear his voice. So we were in the same room together as we were doing the calls. I guess the one challenge was that one, because the film is set, you know, in a bygone era in terms of cell phone life. So
Right.
we were using those period cell phones, and we actually couldn't get the signal that time because they were too old.
Wow.
But no, I think also having known Steve in another life, it just helped that that history was there already.
Yeah. Steve, just to name a few, you know, you played Bobby Riggs in Battle of the Sexes, now Donald Rumsfeld in the movie coming out this holiday season. So real people are not a new thing, but this is different because it's a real person who wrote this very personal memoir.
Yeah.
Did that provide this extra sense of responsibility in your mind?
Oh yeah, for sure. And he could not have been more generous. When I first met David, he was completely open to the idea of having this turned into a film, which I thought was not only generous but really courageous, because it's such a raw piece of writing and story. So I felt, you know, Nick and David were that way for both of us. And I don't want to speak for you, but yeah, there's a sense of responsibility built into that, because you want to do justice to a story, you want to do right by the story, and you want it to be as honest and truthful. And it's interesting playing someone who's lived this life. It's not just from your imagination. It's not a character that you're just inventing. There are parameters that you have to stay within, and so there's definitely a responsibility there too.
You guys have a roller coaster of a scene in a diner. My understanding is that it just goes in so many different places. You see a lot of it in the trailer of the film. Felix, how many times did you have your two actors do that scene? Did you want to limit it so that it didn't get too exhausting for them?
I think it was reasonable. I think we did like 20 takes, but we did it. Okay.
Not the number I was expecting after the word reasonable.
But the whole scene, we
Right.
played it out like in, and it was, I mean, it was 8-page scene, so it was like 10 minutes the way we recorded, I think. So it was like, I think for them it was incredibly exhausting, but that was the way to get all the interaction and it was crazy to see actors like connecting that while the characters actually are trying to connect but don't connect. So it was everybody was crying behind the monitor, like, and this was day 3.
Wow.
So
Timmy, what are your recollections of that day? Does 20 takes sound reasonable to you?
Yeah, it was like day 3, and I just loved, I remember getting there, and Felix had set up, I think, like, just a camera on Steve's side and a camera on my side so he could use the same takes. And usually you'll do someone's coverage first and then the other person next. And I just felt like the importance of actually taking, like, each other in that scene. And also, not from like a crass perspective or anything like that, but my favorite scenes in movies are like variations of like that Meisner technique in acting, of like these like face-to-face, and I think of like Philip Seymour Hoffman and Joaquin Phoenix in The Master,
Sure.
or Heath Ledger and Christian Bale in The Dark Knight when they have that table scene. And it's just great. It's like both characters have to take the other one in, and that was the thrill of that scene. And the movie operates from that at least I think from the lens of Nick's character. I feel like that scene is almost like the form of the arc and of the movie in some ways, where it's like, yeah, Dad, I love you and I have all the love I've always had for you. There's like a thing that I'm kind of sort of addressing, that I'm dealing with. It shouldn't affect our relationship, and I think David has a clear wake-up call for him in that scene. But sorry, I rambled. But
That's not rambling. So we're going to end with our last question, which Steve, you're going to pick out from our IMDb Mountie hat, since we are in Canada, and then you're all going to answer the question that Steve
I
picks.
always get to pick from the Mountie hat.
Yeah, well,
This is.
it's a tradition.
Do I read this?
Yes, you do.
TIFF is a festival for film lovers. TIFF is a festival for film lovers. What else do you wish there was a festival for? Candy. The Toronto Candy Festival.
Okay. What would you binge on?
I would binge on anything chocolate, and I would be the grand wizard of the
Okay.
festival.
does somebody else have something first? I can't think of anything.
I go to a sleeping festival. I wouldn't mind that.
Okay.
There's no wrong answer.
An IMDb festival.
Good answer.
That is disgusting.
That was pandering.
I can't top that. I'm sorry. I can't top that.
Okay, well done. Guys, congratulations in advance on being here in Toronto. Great to see you all. Have a great time here. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right.